Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our February 24, 2025 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including some information coming out of a DC Studios press event where they made some announcements about upcoming DC projects, as well as giving some details about the upcoming Superman movie, some new Krypto short films, and so much more. We also had a DC press event, DC Comics that is, with some announcements about upcoming comic book initiatives, a new Action Comics creative team. So plenty to get through in tonight's Superman Homepage Live program. But joining me, as always, are my two good friends and co-hosts, Michael Bailey. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Doing well. You're looking nice and sharp tonight. Very clear. New internet.
Yeah, they installed the fiber last Tuesday, and it was the stupidest thing. The first thing I did is try to download a comic to my tablet, and on the old internet, it would just inch, and it just like, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna be clear. It's gonna be great.
Awesome. And welcome back, Mark Lax. How are you, Mark? How are you feeling this week?
Hey guys, how you doing? Feeling better.
Excellent. Better. Glad to have you back. Wasn't the same without you, but always good to have the what do we call ourselves, like the Three Stooges back together.
Yeah, the Three Stooges. Well, a lot of us are curly. A couple of us are curly. So.
Yeah, that's right. So there you go. But welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me tonight, and thank you to our regulars and our new people who are tuning in tonight, watching us live across both YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We appreciate your company. For the next hour, we will be bringing you lots of Superman information and getting through heaps of discussion. But Michael, they can get involved in the show as well. How do they do that?
Oh, it's dirt simple. They just have to go to supermanhomepage.com/live and press the call now button, and there you'll be taken to the green room. You can actually watch the show until we have you on. And if you want to use your smartphone, you can scan that QR code. If you are using your desktop or laptop to watch the show and are listening through an external speaker, please mute that when we have you on the show because there's a slight delay. And if you're going to use your smartphone, please use a headset because the speaker phone just never works. Just doesn't.
Exactly. So different ways to get involved in tonight's show. I want to thank our sponsors and our patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray for purchasing our coffee this week. Douglas, John, and Tina, great supporters of the show. Thank you so much for your support. And you can join those fine folks and be a supporter of Superman Homepage Live. All you have to do is on YouTube, click the join button below. There are different levels of membership with different levels of perks. Or you can go to Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/Superman homepage. So thank you very much for this week's coffee, guys and girls. All right. Now, if you're a little bit shy and you don't want to get on the phone and call and speak with us tonight, then all you have to do is participate in the comments, both on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We can see what you're saying. Michael, Mark, and I will be able to react to any comments or questions you might have. So feel free to have a chat, talk to each other, but you can also talk to us. If you're on YouTube and you'd like your question or comment featured on the screen during the show, that is called a super chat. All you have to do is click the dollar symbol there on YouTube. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question live on the screen as we go along tonight. All right, with all the housekeeping stuff out of the way, let's get into tonight's topics. And as always, we will start with movie news. And plenty of movie news kind of dropped today, right before the show. Michael, I think they took us into consideration. Usually, you're complaining that these kind of things happen like 5 minutes after we've hung up. But today it actually came before the show, so we were very grateful for that. But one of the things that happened earlier in the week, I think we kind of might have mentioned it. I don't know if we mentioned it last week, but Zack Snyder and James Gunn posed for a photo together that kind of stirred up a bit of discourse on the internet. And during a press event that DC Studios had recently, James Gunn spoke about why he and Zack Snyder posed for this photo and then posted it online. James Gunn said, "We knew that people have this view that somehow we have been pitted against each other. It's odd to have someone who you're friendly with in real life be the guy that is positioned as your Lex Luthor, or I'm his Lex Luthor. It's just such a weird dynamic that's been created between factions online." But the fact is that the pair are good friends or friendly with each other, and recently met at DC Studios in the writer's room by the looks of things, which also got people's imaginations flying, thinking about what James Gunn might be hiring Zack Snyder to do. But I think it was just a drop-in. We don't know. There might be more to it. But quite an interesting time watching the comments online and across various social media platforms.
No, Steve, this is it. This is where they're going to announce the Elseworlds project that they're going to let Zack Snyder. No, they're not. I don't see them dumping millions and millions of dollars into that when they've got apparently 15 billion other things coming down the pike. But no, I just, I saw that picture. I'm like, James Gunn wrote the script for the Dawn of the Dead movie that Zack Snyder made. There was some rewriting involved because that's
Obviously,
that's what happens in Hollywood. But it's not like these two don't know each other, and it's not James Gunn's fault. Gunn's? That's a weird thing to say. It's not James Gunn's fault that Warner Brothers so excessively screwed Zack Snyder over. Nor is it his responsibility to fix that. So it's like one of those things where I'm sure Zack is off doing his own things. I mean, I've listened to him on some podcasts recently. I've watched some videos of him going over his career, and he seems to be like past wanting to do Justice League.
Mark, your thoughts on the comments that we saw online?
Well, they're two different types of filmmakers for the most part, I think. But it doesn't mean they can't be friends. I mean, people see that. I mean, I don't know. I think James Gunn is just saying, look, this guy's my friend. I know a lot of you people either loved or hated his work, but it doesn't change the fact that he's my friend. We both worked on the DC, Superman, and we're working, within DCU, and so here we are together posing, and I think that's about it. I don't think there's so much more you got to read into it.
No, well, James Gunn said he actually said sometimes we talk about different things, but there isn't really any project that we know about or they want to let on about that there's anything forthcoming that Zack Snyder will be involved with. But I guess these people kind of fly in the same circles, and they drop in on each other from time to time and check in on what other people are doing, and it's they're not arch enemies as people online would like to have you think, or would for them to be. I don't necessarily think Stationary Wanderer saying that Warner Brothers did not screw Snyder over. They obviously that we believe that they probably screwed Henry Cavill over, but Snyder came back and did his Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, but there probably were plans that he thought were in place for future developments of those movies, and which didn't get to come to pass. Do you want to clarify, Michael? I can see you chomping at the bit.
I honestly and fully believe, and this is coming from a person that does not was not a big fan of his DC output. I think they got spooked at the numbers on Batman v Superman. It was not what they wanted it. They didn't like the criticisms of the film, so they used his daughter's suicide as a way to kind of push him out the door. And then they brought in Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns came in, and they did kind of a hatchet job on his movie. So yeah, that's why I say they screwed him over, because they screwed him over.
Okay, interesting viewpoint. And to kind of clarify, it's not necessarily the fan base attacking each other or attacking different, but there are certain sections, especially amongst Snyder's followers, who would like to think that Snyder is against James Gunn's attempt to do a new Superman movie, because they are against the idea that Henry Cavill isn't back as Superman and want to try to derail things or create some kind of trouble But hopefully, and let's be honest, it doesn't matter what James Gunn or Zack Snyder does to kind of quash those, certain factions. People are going to be people and do what they want to do, regardless of what happens. So, it's an interesting perspective, but nevertheless, the two are friendly, and that was an interesting photo that was posted. All right, talking about photos that were posted, James Gunn posted another photo earlier in the week of Nicholas Hoult, a new behind-the-scenes photo of him as Lex Luthor, taken by photographer Stephanie Soretti. You can see the camera person there in front as well. And very stylish type of photo, very film noir with this black and white and the shadows in the background and all that kind of stuff. But just nice to see another behind-the-scenes photo from the film at all. But Nicholas Hoult looks great as Lex Luthor, and a very modern type of Lex Luthor.
Yeah, it's a good shot. He's definitely sinister looking.
Mm-hmm. Something about those eyebrows.
Yep.
Yeah, no, looks good. I love the film noir look, which I don't think we're going to really get in the movie.
No,
but the shadows and all that. No, it's a good photo. He looks good.
So there you have it. There's and that was posted for the 85th anniversary of Lex Luthor's first appearance, which is a bit of a debate about when his first appearance actually was. Was it in 1940s Action Comics number 23, or was it in Superman number 4, also released that same year? You can debate that online if you like. One came out February 22nd, the other one February 15th, but nevertheless, it is 85 years since Lex Luthor first appeared in one of those issues in 1940.
It's Action Comics number 23. I mean, come on. It is literally the first time they meet each other. It makes absolutely no sense to have his first appearance where they know each other, and then in the next appearance that they meet for the first time. Just because one came out the other does not mean that the intention wasn't for Action Comics number 23 to be the first appearance, and I will die on that hill.
To me, the very first time you see a character named Luthor, to me, it would be his first appearance.
Well, then technically that would be Superman number 4, but Michael says
Superman number 4. So what? So okay.
So the story, So the first meeting is actually in Action Comics 23, which came out February 22nd. But Superman number 4, which arrived February 15th, like 7 days earlier, actually has their second meeting. That obviously the publication overlap or the release dates kind of didn't work out, but the first meeting is actually in a week later in Action Comics 23. So it's more like a release date-ish problem, but yeah, technically Luthor was in Action Comics, Superman number 4.
Well, I just know that one of his first appearances he had hair, and then supposedly there was the mix-up or something, and then the next he was bald, or they called the guy who was bald Luthor or something, and something to that effect from what I know.
It's hard to know.
That's why I'm very confused.
Yeah, it's hard to know back in that day because there were records, and things. But the understood idea was that a colorist didn't, color the hair in or whatever in that in following issues, and so the bald thing kind of stuck after that. But originally he had a full head of red hair,
right.
And so that's where we now in modern times sometimes see Luthor with red hair, and then later he loses it and all those kinds of things. So interesting kind of way that legend follows mistakes or unintended things happen that lead to future storylines. So we'll leave that one there. Of course, we don't want Michael to die on any hills. All right, we will push on, and the DC Studios press event that I alluded to earlier, obviously there was like an embargo date and when they could talk about these things, and that kind of just was today with Variety and other major outlets opening up about what they found out at this particular press event. James Gunn was answering questions from different media outlets and responded to questions about his thoughts on Superman and amongst the current political landscape with Donald Trump now in his second presidential term. Now, we don't like to get political here, but it was interesting to see James Gunn kind of duck and dodge some of the questions that tried to pin him to an opinion, but I think he did really well, almost like a politician himself in kind of answering without answering. But he did say, in some ways, I would say it's the right Superman, that, Superman's being, right time for Superman, because I don't think he's part of the cultural moment. He's a character that stands for something that is solid, for basic human morals, basic human integrity, the basic belief in protecting others, the weak, and being good to people and being honest. He stands for what I think of as the rules that don't change. Don't know what you guys thought of this particular area of the press event.
On one hand, it's a valid question. On the other hand, I'm not quite sure that this is the forum for that type of commentary. I mean, we're talking about a press event that was there to promote the upcoming DC films and TV shows and animated stuff. Turning it into a political thing, I think, especially, I guess what I'm trying to say is that there is enough real world out there right now that is a dumpster fire that maybe we can just have, the DC stuff be fun and not have to really talk about or reflect that or be a commentary on that. Also, it just seems like somebody was trying to get a soundbite so that they could frame a headline that would get a lot of engagement on social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a gotcha question, because I think, at some point they figure somebody's going to ask the question, but yeah, not exactly the right place. It's just somebody with their own agenda. It could be left or right. I think it's more towards the right. That's me, um, but they just wanted to see, what's this guy gonna say? How's he gonna frame it? To make it. And he said what he said. He said exactly what So basically, he said Superman's for everybody. He loves he loves the weak, the strong. He's out there to help everyone that needs help, and that's the basic question. I mean, that's the basic answer.
Yeah. No, I think he did. He dealt with it well. Someone looking for a soundbite, but it is a relevant question, I guess, but probably not the right forum, because DC, we're all about announcing some upcoming new projects. There were some animated projects that were announced, things like DC Superpowers, which I thought would be like a Super Friends type of thing, but is more about other, like a third tier or second tier superheroes. There was a spin-off, like a Green Lantern thing that seems like it's a spin-off of My Adventures with Superman. I'm not sure if I read into that or not correctly. But the one that caught my eye was the idea that they're doing 4 short films on Krypto the Superdog. That is the same Krypto that we're seeing in the upcoming Superman movie, but they'll be like seasonal stories. I guess one for the fall, one for summer, one for for spring, and one for the winter. So coming out at different times of the year. But James Gunn said, we've got these cool little Krypto shorts that are so fun. I've been watching all of them. He's a terrible, terrible dog. It's for families, and it's just really fun and goofy. It's pretty cool. So it's and then Peter Safran said it's definitely the Krypto you fall in love with in Superman. He is a terrible dog. Poor Krypto. Jeez, he's getting some bad press.
Terrible dog.
I no. Well, to be fair, I will say what utter monsters my dogs are on a regular basis, but I will also cut somebody over them. So it's just, both statements can be true at the same time. I mean when Gracie, just to get me to take her out, instead of like coming to me to take her out, she goes to Rachel because she knows I don't want her to wake Rachel up, so she goes to do that, and it's highly manipulative. So yeah, dogs are evil creatures that we love, and that's just the the long and the short of it.
I think even Stephen King calls his dog, often refers to his dog as the thing of evil.
Thing of evil,
yeah, on social media. But yeah, I love this idea of Krypto short films. I don't know where they'll come out, Mark. I don't know if you think that maybe would it be like DVD, Blu-ray type of thing, or will they be, maybe tacked in, before a feature film release?
If they're shorts, I mean, I don't think they're going to come out just in their own DVD. Well, if they're all together, if all 4 shorts are together, and they're
eventually
maybe,
they might.
15
where would
minutes
they be
long or
premiering?
something. Yeah, I could see that maybe, but I don't know. I think or Max and HBO Max, possibly, or before. Well, if there's going to be 4 of them, I could say one might run before the movie, but there's going to be 4 of them, so I don't know. I mean, it's either a DVD kind of thing, or maybe on Max or something like that.
Yeah, or even streaming online, something like that would be pretty cool. But it would be nice to see a short before a feature film, like we used to back in the days, like where the Fleischer cartoons were originally released in the 40s. Even growing up, I'm dating myself here, but you used to get a cartoon short before a feature film, like a Bugs Bunny thing or something like that. I don't know if they'll ever do that again, but it'll be interesting to see what the forum is for these to be released. The first one is around September, October, so obviously in the fall for you guys.
Well, it's it's possible that they're going to have one before a major WB movie. That's possible. A short before one of the big Warner Brothers movies or something. That's possible. But I don't know. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, exactly. What would you like to see, Michael? Would you think cinema or like theater, or do you think streaming?
I think it's probably going to be theatrical, but streaming makes probably the most sense because that way you're tagging in HBO Max or the Max or whatever they're going to be calling it next week. As like a seasonal thing, like Christmas with Krypto kind of writes itself when you really think about it.
It does. So good. So yeah, we'll wait and see just when these come out, where they'll come out. But as Stationary Wanderer says in the comments, all of the merch on DC Shop is, Krypto. That's the whole line of Krypto merchandise, whether it be shirts, drink holders, what have you, phone covers, what have you. But yeah, Krypto is gold, and they're mining that gold mine right now, DC. And I imagine once the film comes out, it probably just escalate even further.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that they'll have something that they'll be able to target towards kids and younger families. That there will be an element of the film that will really resonate with a younger audience. So this could be quite fun.
Yeah, that neck snapping Zod figure just wasn't a big seller back in 2013. So I think they learned their lesson on that one.
Very good. All right. Well, we are just before the halfway mark of tonight's show. We've got plenty of comic book stuff to talk towards in the second half hour of our program. And we've also got the monthly segment, Super Secret Soundbite coming. We've got our fan favorite question, This Week in History. So we're going to take a quick break right now, come back on the flip side to make sure we fit everything in as we get into the second half hour of Superman Homepage Live. Stick with us because we've got plenty to get through right after these messages.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Faster than a bursting bubble, cleaner than a whistle. It's me, the Soaky Kid, with 2 brand new Soaky Fun Bath characters, Superman and Tennessee Tuxedo.
Tennessee, penguins can't fly.
I happen to be skydiving.
Without a parachute?
I knew I forgot something. Thanks, Superman. Look, 2 brand new Soaky toys.
Great stars, it's me, Superman.
And me, Tennessee Tuxedo. Time to wash up.
Up, and away!
Soaky soaks you clean in
Oceans full of fun.
scrubbly bubbly flibbity flobbity.
Clean before you're done.
Soaky soaks you clean and every girl and boy gets a toy. When it's empty, it's a toy.
And there we have one of those old commercials that sadly doesn't exist, I don't believe, in a purer form, but nevertheless, nice to see some of those old TV commercials that were from a simpler day.
Yes, where Superman can fly around a small child taking a bath with a penguin. Because there's nothing questionable or objectionable about that.
Not at all. All right, let's jump into some of our regular segments. We're going to do the Super Secret Soundbite, which is our regular monthly segment. Here we go.
Only one thing alive with less than 4 legs can hear this frequency, Superman, and that's you.
Yes, the Super Secret Soundbite is a monthly segment where we play a bit of audio and try to get you to guess where it came from. Here was the sound from last month.
Clark, I know you're Superman. This is not a big reveal.
So that was the soundbite, and we only had one person guess where that came from. Who was that, Michael?
That was Lorenzo Valdez. Very good, Lorenzo.
Well done, Lorenzo.
He did guess it correctly.
Yeah, it came from the, 6th episode of Season 1 of My Adventures with Superman, which was My Adventures with Mad Science. So, yeah, that one was easy, Rick, but as he says in the comments. But, yes, unfortunately, only one person responded. So let's see if we can get more people guessing where in the world of Superman this new super secret soundbite comes from.
You gave up your powers?
Can't say I've missed these chats.
You were basically a god.
If you think you know where in the world of Superman that sound came from, don't say anything in the comments right now. Go to supermanhomepage.com. Under the contact menu, you will find the super secret soundbite entry form. Fill out that form, send your entry in, and we will read out the names of each person who guesses it right when we return to this segment at the end of March. So jump into the super secret soundbite contest and get involved. All right, pushing on. Oh, we have a new super secret. Oh, we did that one. So let's move on. I did that. Let's go into the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, the super secret soundbite is done. Here we jump into the fan favorite segment of our show, where we had the question last week: what is your favorite episode of the New Adventures of Superman cartoon series? We had a couple of people respond in, one for this week's question, but also one for last week's question. And I have to apologize to Kenneth Crowley Jr. in the comments. I saw an email come through from him But sadly, I responded to him because I couldn't find the email. It kind of disappeared from my inbox, and I don't know where it was. So I apologize, Kenneth. I tried to get you to send it through to me again, but obviously that one went through to the keeper. So I will get you guys to read out the responses that we did receive, starting with you, Michael.
Yeah, Kirby Lindell wrote in saying, for some reason, even though I sent this... Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, continue, yes.
Okay. For some reason, even though I was sent this, it was not received. I'm going to try again. The Adventures of Superman probably always will be my favorite Superman on film. That's not to say I don't appreciate everyone who's played Superman previously, even Dean Cain. Important qualifier. Having said that, I just can't pick one episode. The first season, in my opinion, was absolutely brilliant. It had a real noir feel to it, and it was actually extremely violent. So if I had to narrow it down, I'll pick 3 episodes. The Haunted Lighthouse, where Jimmy Olsen is visiting his faux aunt. Number 2, Superman of Earth, the beginning of it all. And number 3 is The Deserted Village, where Lois goes back home. And of course, Phyllis, my favorite Lois Lane, gives a wonderful scream.
There you go. Thank you, Kirby, for answering last week's question. But we have Ramel Mark, who answered this week's question.
Yes, Ramel Katunkin, I believe. Hope I say it right. My favorite episode of The New Adventures of Superman was The Return of Brainiac because it was my first introduction to the character of Brainiac. Even though I was quite young, his appearance made quite a vivid impression on me. He was done quite well in his appearance and mission, and the sight of shrunken animals was also memorable.
There you go. Thank you to Ramel for that one. So that were the 2 responses that we received. Again, sorry, Kenneth, don't have yours handy to read out, so you can resend it to us for next week if you want. But Michael, what is our new question for next week for the fan favorite question?
What is your favorite episode of the Super Friends cartoon?
Yeah, there are plenty of them to get through. Quite a few different iterations of the Super Friends cartoons. Challenge of the Super Friends. What were some of the others?
World's Greatest Super Friends.
Yeah, Galactics. Those
Galactic
ones.
Guardians or whatever.
The Superpowers team, Galactic Guardians, Super Friends, the legendary Superpower shows, Super Friends Meet Emmanuel. I mean, it just went on and on.
That, by the way, is my favorite version. My favorite. I have that on tape. I've kept that for years.
Info at Superman
we're learning
homepage.
a lot about Mark tonight.
Yeah, we are. We're getting really deep in tonight. Info at supermanhomepage.com is the email address to send your response to what is your favorite episode of the Super Friends animated show, the cartoons that were part of my childhood throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Yes, I'm dating myself once again. So info at supermanhomepage.com. Send in your responses to the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, let's jump into This Week in History, where Michael takes the lead. Here we go.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
We got quite a few comics this time out. We go back to 1945 with Superman number 34, which is a giant ad for the American Red Cross. That is also an early Lex Luthor appearance, if I am correct. Then you get into 1955, where we have Action Comics number 203, where you've got me, who's got you. Also that same week, Adventure Comics number 211, which that's. Yeah, Superboy's most amazing dream. I don't think I want to get it. Superboy's dream. That no. 1965, we have Action Comics number 323. A lot of Action Comics this time out.
Yeah, big time.
Where Clark Kent in the big house. Why would he go to prison?
I was thinking to myself, that pink jumpsuit is wow.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it's funny that Lex Luthor would wear prison grays, and they put Superman in that. So, given Lex's later color scheme, Adventure Comics number 331, which is the triumph of the Legion of Super Villains, who were adults, by the way, not other kids. It's kind of weird. And then we also had Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 84.
Hey, that's a.
I guess this is the Superman equivalent of Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. I'm guessing.
Or Kong.
So we got Titano in there hitting Superman with the kryptonite vision, fighting Godzilla. That is fantastic. 1975, we have Action Comics number 447, which these Action Comics covers just keep getting weirder and weirder as we go on. They really do. The man who created Superman. So I guess this is a giant story about Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Maybe? No. I don't know. And then we have another adventure comics. It's becoming quite the habit. Number 439, which I put in there for some reason, and I don't know why, because that's a Spectre story. Though, to be fair, Spectre, co-created by Jerry Siegel. In 1985, we have Action Comics number 567, or as I like to say, we are burning through inventory stories like you wouldn't believe. The character in the background, by the way, is named the Yellow Perry, who actually has been on live action. She was on the Superboy series.
There you go.
It's really crazy to think. We also have World's Finest number 315 as we enter the death throes of this series. And then this is the weird thing. We go to 1995 with Adventures of Superman number 522. This was the issue that explained how Metropolis was basically resurrected after the fall of Metropolis. And we also have Steel number 14, which has a guest appearance by Superman, looking like he just... maybe this is what they used for that Total Justice Superman figure from McFarlane. I think I'm onto something here. That's it for comics, y'all. Like 2005, 2015, nothing Superman related.
Especially for a short month like February, you couldn't even say it was a skip week.
Yeah. In the real world, February 27th, Adam Baldwin, who played Superman in Superman Doomsday, though I will always think of him as the guy from My Bodyguard back in the early 80s. He was born in 1962. February 27th, by the way, is also traditionally recognized as the birthday of Lori Lamaris.
Okay.
February 28th, Sidney J. Furie, who directed Superman 4, was born in 1933. And another Superman director, March 1st, Zack Snyder, born in 1966. So literally like 10 years before I was. Jensen Ackles was born in 1978 on March 1st. And Tim Daly was born in 1956. And that's this week in history. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So happy birthday to all those people celebrating their birthdays this week, including a non-birthday for you this week, Michael Bailey.
Yeah, I don't have one this year. It's okay. I mean, it's not like there. I did see somebody post on social media that James Gunn is going to release the first official Superman trailer on February 29th this year, and I thought that was a pretty good gag.
For those who don't know, you are a leap year baby. You're born on February 29th.
I am a leap year baby. February 29th, just like Superman. Though mine's real because I exist and Superman really doesn't. And so I will be 12 and a quarter this year.
Very good. Yes, of course, we can't forget that traditionally speaking, Superman also celebrates his birthday on February 29th, which again does not happen this year. So that explains why he doesn't age in the comic books. All right, so yes, happy non-birthday for you this week, Michael Bailey.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to the comic book side of things, where, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, some cool announcements this week from Comics Pro, the convention that took place where DC announced some of their upcoming publishing plans for the summer and fall of 2025, including a new Supergirl ongoing series. Just bringing up the images here. So we've got a Supergirl ongoing series that will launch on May 14th. It will be written and illustrated by celebrated storyteller Sophie Campbell. And it says here, Kara Zor-El has always been a key member of the super family in Metropolis, but Campbell is taking Supergirl in a new direction among familiar surroundings as she returns to the town of Midvale. With a new series, Supergirl also gets a new costume designed by best-selling cover artist Stanley Artgerm Lau. Supergirl's fresh look will be spotlighted on Supergirl #1 main cover by series writer Campbell, a cardstock and foil variant by Artgerm, which is there, as well as variant covers by Bill Everly, Pablo Villalobos, Joshua Middleton, and W. Scott Forbes.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this, mainly because I was actually talking about this on social media a couple weeks ago. I'm really of the opinion that the best thing that you can do with the Superman family is split them up and only bring them together for big events. Because if they're all in Metropolis, there's not that much chance for drama and like for them to actually kind of stand on their own. The fact that she's returning her to Midvale, the fact that they're not automatically going in like a dark and gritty direction, that cover is amazing. And you know, I'm just really hopeful that this is kind of the build up to the Supergirl film next year. Like that they're going to be pushing her just as much as they're pushing Superman. So I was excited to see that.
Mark, do you think that this design will transfer into the film?
I think to a point. I mean, I'm other than the only nitpick I have is she's got the what do you call it, the belly
the midriff.
Again, I don't think it's necessary, but beyond that, I think it looks really good. And I think the look in the comic was for Woman of Tomorrow, whatever, was a little more familiar. It was a little more similar to this. So yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, there's going to be a similar look. I do think it looks great. I mean, other than the belly shirt thing, other than that, I think it looks great. I'm glad she's back. I'm glad she has a cape. I'm glad she doesn't have those patches. I'm really kind of getting sick of those S patches on all the super families' shoulders. I mean, it's like, come on, we know who they are. They got the S, and the fact that they don't all have capes or whatever. So I'm glad they've gone back to the more traditional look.
Yeah, I mean the crop top, the higher collar, the higher boots going up the midway through the thigh. There are some elements to it that I'm not that bigger fan of. I still don't understand why her S symbol is different to Superman's in this version, but I guess it sets her apart so that they know if you see this symbol, that's Supergirl's symbol. But yeah, I don't know.
That S symbol though looks like the S symbol from like Superman Lives.
I can see that. Yeah, it does.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
That's all I had for that. I'm sorry that wasn't deeper, y'all. I kind of apologize.
And so that's coming out, as I said, first issue May 14th. But then they also announced a new 5-issue Krypto the Last Dog of Krypton. That's a bit of a mouthful. 5-issue series Krypto the Last Dog of Krypton, which will debut on June 18th. Delivers a heartfelt and moving view of humanity, good and bad, through the emphatic eyes of the ultimate outsider, a poor lost dog who just happens to have superpowers. This is written by Ryan North with art by Mike Norton. And as I said, the first of 5 issues will come out on June 18th.
This is not surprising, but at the same time, I love the fact that Krypto is getting such a huge push. Like,
big time.
Like the last time we had like a Superman movie, they didn't really pull in a whole lot of the extraneous parts of his universe and or his world. I mean, you had Lois and you had Jor-El and you had General Zod, but it's not like you really did much with like the Fortress of Solitude or anything like that. And this time they're like, screw it, we're having Krypto, and we're going to give him a 5-issue miniseries. So I don't think this is his first book, because I think there was a tie-in book to that Krypto the Superdog animated series.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is great. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, it says here, through the 5 issues, Krypto explores Earth in search of his family, finding himself lost and alone in our alien world. And with strange new superpowers quickly coming in, Krypto begins traveling the strange planet he finds himself in the middle of, always on the trail of his lost friend Kal-El, a being now better known as Superman. Will you be reading this one, Mark?
Yeah, I might be. I mean, I remember also, I don't know if they had, maybe Silver Age. I know they had Bronze Age. They had a Krypto backup. That much I do know. But yeah, I'm a fan of Krypto. I know there's a lot of people out there rolling their eyes, oh, Krypto. But you know what? He is such a big part of the Superman mythos. You can't deny it. And that first, when we saw the preview, that first thing where you see Krypto commenting, it's like, oh man, it made me anyway feel good when I saw that. So I think this push of Krypto is something good. And I'm probably will definitely be we'll be reading the book.
Awesome. Just quickly, I want to go back to Kenneth's email came through about his fan favorite question. So I didn't want to leave him out for tonight's episode in regards to his favorite episode of the New Adventures of Superman. Kenneth's email reads, my favorite episode of the New Adventures of Superman. Wow, so many to choose one. It's hard to pick one. Also, the intro for the cartoon is super amazing as well. Thanks, guys, for all you do for the Superman Super Family, fan community, and Superman homepage. So thank you very much, Kenneth. Couldn't pick one, but a big fan of the series. So thank you, Kenneth, for sending that in, and apologies again for missing out on it earlier. All right, so the other big news out of that DC Comics announcement at Comics Pro was the new Action Comics creative team with some artwork about for this as well. Again, there's Krypto. What do you know? So the Action Comics 1087 will start the new creative team's run, and that is writer Mark Waid returning to Superman with artist Skylar Patridge as new creative team. It says, beginning with June's Action Comics 1087, this new team also takes the series in a new direction, spotlighting Clark Kent as Superboy in his hometown of Smallville on the Kent family farm. This can't be a story with ties to the present storylines in DC's comic books takes the Boy of Steel to unexpected heights as he figures out what being a hero truly means. First stop, Metropolis's Expo of tomorrow. Will Clark be able to blend into the crowd, or is Superboy about to make his public debut? Wow.
I'm not surprised. They had the little Superboy tease in the Absolute Power crossover issue in Superman. And we were talking a couple weeks ago, or about a month ago, about the fact that when we were talking to the last solicitations, actually, that the storyline that was ending the Superman Superstars thing was solicited, and we're like, well, does this mean they're going to be announcing a new creative team soon? And the answer to that was yes. I love that it's Mark Waid. I love that it's Mark Waid writing Action Comics, and I think the time is right for Superboy to kind of come back to the mythos. I'm a post-crisis kid, so him not being Superboy is natural. But I think when you look at the decades when he was Superboy and the stories they were able to get out of that it's just going to be kind of interesting to tell it from a modern standpoint. And man, that one shot looks like Tom Welling in a costume, like first season Tom Welling of Smallville. Not that one, the other one. That's and he's wearing trunks. He's not wearing briefs. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, when it was first announced that he was doing the weekly series, that Mark Waid was doing the weekly series, I thought at the time, I thought he was now taking over for Action Comics. So I had a feeling at some point after he did the 12-part story that he would. Um, and there's been rumors about Superboy for a while now coming back. I mean, there were teases for years that he was Superboy, and it was just something that they never actually addressed. So now they're, excuse the impression, all in on Superboy. So obviously he's going to be a big part of the mythos again, and I'm fine with that. I mean, we had it for decade after decade after decade that he was Superboy, and then Superman. So there's really no reason not to bring him back. How whether we'll get a Superboy um, series itself with his adventures, I don't know. This just might be the one story and occasionally be referenced, but I'm glad he's coming back, and I'm glad Mark Waid is going to be the regular on Action Comics.
Some interesting comments from people watching the show live, wondering if the Legion of Superheroes will make an appearance, considering Mark Waid's love of the 31st century kids.
I'm hoping that they just establish Superboy first. I'm not opposed to them kind of bringing in the Legion later, but I think if this is gonna be the return of the Adventures of Superman when he was a boy, then they really need to kind of focus on that for a little while before starting to bring in the Legion and other things that kind of spin out of him. Because the problem with the Legion is historically the Legion just takes over his book. So I don't think we want that again, because we want a Superboy story.
Yeah, no, fair point. All right, so talking about upcoming comic books, DC also released their solicitations this past week, and obviously Supergirl was part of that, because that is coming out in the month of May, which these solicitations are all about. And there is another new Superman comic book title that will come out in May, and that is Superman Unlimited #1. And a bit of surprise for James Gunn, he's actually featured on the cover of this Superman Unlimited #1, and he was posting all about it and saying how chuffed he was to be included there, because there's also David Corenswet, Superman, on the cover. The summer of Superman heats up with a brand new ongoing series taking the DCU by storm. When an asteroid the size of Metropolis hurtles towards collision with planet Earth, the Justice League dispatches Superman to avert the crisis, but a sinister threat lurks within that will change the world like never before, and the danger glows green. So the last son of Krypton must risk everything to save his adopted home, the very home which now tries to kill him from complete destruction.
Given that they're in the news recently, there is a growing chance of a meteor, not the size of Metropolis, one, because it's a fictional city, but more than that, it's not the size of a city, has an increasing chance of hitting the Earth. This is coming out at just the right time, I think.
Yeah.
I thought it was hitting the moon, but maybe you're right. Maybe it does both.
Now there is I think now a 3% chance that it will strike the Earth. Now, as Neil deGrasse Tyson points out, when you're talking about these things, is that it is dangerous, but also the Earth is 70% water. So there's a higher chance that it will hit the water. Now, that's not to say that it won't cause any damage, but the size of this particular asteroid is not a planet killer. And let's be fair, it's a humanity killer. It's not a planet killer. The planet's going to be fine. It's going to bounce back. It's done that a couple times. No, we're worried about ourselves. This is why I never get. I'm going to get on a soapbox for a second. This is why I never understand the people that are like, we got to save the planet. The planet is going to be okay, y'all.
It's us that's killing it.
We make. It's us that we're really trying to save. So, but. No, I'm really excited for that one. I like that we're getting a new Superman title. I like that Superman's getting a big push. I like that the solicitations this month were full of like a bunch of really cool Superman stuff, because there were years where the solicitations would come around and it's like, here's the latest issues of Superman. Hope you like them.
Very cool. And there's also Superman number 26 is solicited for May. Superman is infected with red kryptonite, and after the shocking events of Superman number 25 with Lex Luthor and Mercy Graves, Superman is possessed with a new kind of anger. Who will join Superwoman in protecting Metropolis from his rage? Mark, your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad they're going with Red K, even though not that I wanted to go back to the Silver Age where he would turn to a little baby or whatever, but I'd like to see something a little more fantastic. Then again, we really don't know. They say anger. We really don't know exactly how this is going to affect him. But I am glad that Red Kryptonite is back.
There's also Action Comics. No, they haven't. Action Comics 1086 was also solicited there. So interesting to look at what's coming out in May. Also was announced this past week from Fun Plus, one of the world's largest independent game companies. They announced that they've created a DC Dark Legion upcoming video game, which there's a title graphic for it, or one of the graphics they created. Starting today, fans can visit either the App Store, Google Play, or dcdarklegion.com to pre-register for the game to earn rewards at launch, and the launch will be March 14th. So next month, middle of next month, you'll be able to start playing DC Dark Legion, which is a strategy game. So that's an interesting one to look out for. But that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's Superman Homepage Live episode. I want to thank everyone who tuned in to tonight's hour to be with us and share all these stories with us and your thoughts and your comments. Thank you for your company. And thank you to my co-host, Michael Bailey. Thank you, Michael.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Well, guys, we will be back next week. It will be Monday, March 3rd, I think it is, for another edition of Superman Homepage Live at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. If you missed part of tonight's show, tuned in late, want to watch it all over again, you can do that at both our YouTube channel and on supermanhomepage.com. But as I said, the three of us will be back next week on Monday, March 3rd for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. Hope you'll join us then. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey and Mark Lax. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Good night.